Hey, Torch Moms. We're back with another episode on the Torch Mom podcast, which aims to empower moms to live their lives to the fullest, embracing their desires and passions without guilt or judgment. Through open and honest conversations, we hope to create a space that encourages self exploration, self expression, and self acceptance for all mothers. Today, we have OptiMoe, a torch mom taking on risk and crushing hate daily. Let's get this torch talk started. What's going on? Hey.
Hey, how you doing? Honored to be here.
I am doing great. I thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I'm ready to jump into these questions. Are you?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I've been waiting.
All right. Well, my first question for you is before becoming a mother, were there any pivotal moments or experiences that shaped your path?
Before I was pregnant, pivotal, excuse my ignorance, that would be good or bad. Yeah, no. Can you hear
I'm
me?
sorry.
I said, excuse my ignorance. I said, when you say that, but it doesn't matter. But
Yes, I can
when
hear
you
you.
ask that, is it good or bad? You heard me?
Nope, it's your choice. Whatever you choose, wherever you choose to go.
Okay, I would say the most pivotal moment before being a parent was losing my uncle, which was more or less like a father figure. He was young, but someone that cared about me more than anyone else on earth, and he was killed at 19.
Okay. Okay. So once you became a mom, what gave you your go? What had you jump back into your passions?
Okay, so I would say when I became a mom for the first time, I felt like, oh, I do not disturb. How you do not disturb? I felt like I finally had a chance for someone to accept and love me unconditionally. It's kind of like, as I looked at it, I was a young mom. I started at 17.
Okay.
And then, the motivation of like when I was young at 17, I really didn't know so much. I just know that I wanted to do something different than what I was brought up doing, right? Or what I was brought up in. I just know I wanted to give a different perspective.
Okay. Okay. So I know recently well, I don't know if it was recently or how it came about for you, but moving from New Jersey to Maryland and taking a leap of faith in pursuing your dreams is courageous. So I commend you for that. What
Yeah, it
has
was.
this change in environment influenced?
I would say it influenced perseverance because in the mix of after I took the leap of faith, I moved here, which I didn't know not one person. It was just like I said, just trying to think outside the box and just like be different, optimistic. I'm very optimistic. So, um, when I took the leap of faith, it was like a leap of faith. It changed dramatically, and it was more or less like moving from one state to another and being able to be my whole, sincerely authentic self versus the person that everyone know me for growing up. However, the choices I was making throughout time.
Okay. So, as a single mother of four, am I correct?
Yes. Yep. I have a
Okay. How do
21.
you
I
balance
have,
your roles as a parent and pursuing your passions?
um, difficult. I would definitely say it's difficult. Being a single mom of four and trying to make sure that I keep the foundation going for them to be able to be as prosperous as they can be in school is definitely a lot of sleepless nights, I would say. And I would say just being aware and staying conscious of knowing me being that young kid, not having someone to depend on, it keeps me motivated to keep me balanced to make sure I keep tapping in to make sure that my kids is good
Mhm.
and just like trying to pursue something I never was taught pursuing, I would say would be the hardest part about it. But seeing it be done is seeing it be done amongst people like myself gives me the inspiration and the power to know that I can do it myself. Like, because I just, once you see something, you can't unsee it. And I would say that in my own dreams and my own visions of when I sat and thought myself. So it's like, I already seen it, so I can't stop. So it's like, I have these ones that I'm responsible for
Mhm.
full, like, all through and through. So it's like, more or less, like, I just have to do what I got to do because I wouldn't want any child to feel like how I was when I was young growing up without support system. So it's hard, but but still.
Mhm. Well, I definitely can relate. I definitely understand that feeling. How we came up rolling up with you. But I can relate with you. You know, how we came up, it's like you don't want them to deal with the things that we had to deal with. You know, we're doing our best to change cycles here, when it comes to our children. So I definitely can understand that, most definitely. So, how did
It is more or
you
less like
find your
you got
passion for art, and what inspired you to take it to the streets?
how did I find my passion? I actually it was so I actually didn't know actually. I was just actually doing the working thing. I just know in my time of working I did like a lot of serving like as a waitress and bartender and stuff like that to where I enjoy serving people and talking to people. So I just had to find a way that I could serve people and also be able to not give so much and gain at the same time. So I sat with that and I was into vision boards and doing personalized planners. So I know that I wanted to encourage and motivate others. So it was just like I sat with myself and was just like, like what makes me optimistic? Because somebody asked me one day, like, what one word to describe myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm optimistic is. And then I went home and I sat with that, like, what makes me optimistic? And then when I sat and thought about it, it was just like I love serving, and it came to me, open people to imagine magnificent inner strength to increase creativity, which I can teach people how to be creative because in my years, I noticed that I stayed doing creative stuff with the kids, and my friends would call me and ask me to do like projects with them, and they used to get A pluses and win things and stuff like that. I'm like, let me do like a vision board creative workshop type of thing, and I did that, and it took off, and it was just like I went with that, and then I painted a picture, and somebody wanted to buy it, and I was like, I could teach you how to do it, and then I had like a sip of paint, puff and paint, and then that was like 20 sold out from the door. Then I just, kept on going. Like, okay. So it's like I kind of found it by asking myself, who am I and what I enjoy doing and how can I do that in a way of serving, but at the same time, not taking so much out of myself. So doing what I love, and it comes easily. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, you've been involved in various projects and organizations. Can you share some memorable experiences or moments you've had throughout your journey?
Yes, I have a lot actually. One that stands out when I came to Baltimore. It was like I went to an event Black Chakra was having, and I didn't know of him or nothing, and it was pretty dope because he was getting my attention the whole night, and it felt like I was like back in the like 80s, like I'm a 90s type, like I'm an 80s baby, so it felt like I was like back in the 90s, and it was just like so like in felt like it was MTV type of thing. And then I had met Keith the Lioness, and she came up to me, introduced me. We introduced each other, and she invited me to the poetry party. And when I went to the poetry party, that was a whole another vibe that was just like even more deeper into the movie type thing. And then they had internships and stuff like that, and I signed up for the internship, and I was there for like I did the internship for 6 months, and then I ended up staying there for 2.5 years. And the way that I have grown and the people I have met and the talents that I have seen is like unspeakable talents and like unbelievable, unbelievable performances and just like magnificent energy. It's just been like the biggest takeaway.
Mm. So I know you had fun being able to be around and be behind the scenes, see what's going on. I know that's super dope for you to experience that.
It was
So
everything
are
for
you
real.
able to take your kids along while you're doing that?
Yes, it'd be a whole bunch. So
Go
it's like
ahead.
it's it's so much it's so much that so the things that I do is mainly fully community based. What I would say, I'm a curator, so like um most of the things that I'm involved in, because I do a plethora of things. I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur because I don't just do events. I also do workshops, and I decorate, and I do a little bit of a lot. Like I do interviews, street interviews and stuff like that. So I kind of do whatever comes to mind that somebody else is not so much doing. I just try to put a twist to it to make it my own thing, and it's actually been working. But yes, my kids are very helpful. I don't have employees right now. They are my employees, I would say. They help me with a lot of things, like a lot of things. So I'm thankful, and that's another thing, a reason why I have to keep going, because it shows them no matter our situation, it lets them know that we can be obtainable of something, we can own something, we can start from the bottom, and when you're at the bottom, there's nowhere other to go than up. So, yeah.
Yep. So my next question for you, coming right off of that, what does torch mom mean to you?
Torch Moms, I feel as though is pretty dope for the simple fact that you giving a platform for mothers to actually express themselves and like tell and like express to other people that they're not alone in what it is that they go through, and letting other moms hear the differences that life brings us, the ups and the downs. It is just like having a sound mind of actually getting behind the scenes and impersonal with people sharing different perspectives of motherhood, because everyone has grown differently. So there's always someone out there that can, I feel as though, take away from what it is that you're doing, because there's a lot of young moms, older moms, and then it'd be like a young mom that feel as though they're the only one going through such thing. But like coming across your page, if you find someone that seems as interesting to you, or you never know what someone's story is. Cause like the truck driver thing, like when she was about to get snatched up, I'm like, yo, I be thinking that like these women are bold. Like, how do you do that? But carrying on and maintaining life is just like letting other
Mhm.
moms know that they're not in it by themselves. So it's just like I'm thankful for the voices that do speak up and share their honest story and just being transparent. So I think that you're onto something, and I can see it going a long way. And like I'm just happy to be a part of it.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you going through depth with that. Like, that's exactly what this is about. And I can't wait until it blows up and all our voices are heard. So everybody knows that it's not easy, but we can make it and we will make it. And that's that. So I'm excited. Um, how do you navigate the emotional aspect of pursuing your passions while dealing with societal expectations and outside judgments?
It fools that she like, oh, okay, she back. Yes, and I do believe all of that.
So, being a weed activist, how do you educate and advocate for benefits of cannabis while also addressing any potential stigma or misconceptions around it, especially as a mom?
Yes, so for me being a weed advocate, I would say for me speaking, I am not pro medicine, so I had a stroke before, and I deal with anxiety. And for me, it's more or less like a calmer. I deal with like racing thoughts, and I deal with a lot of body aches and stuff like that. So for me, it's something that is a calmer versus them putting me on other things that I can't control. And once you take it, it's just in your system, and it's just like another high to something that I can't even imagine. So for me, it's more or less a from the earth, herbal, and for me, it maintains my thoughts that I have when I have racing thoughts and stuff like that, to where sometimes I can't control, or like my real bad anxiety from when I had a stroke, to where I have short term memory, to where I'm trying to fill out papers, trying to remember things, and all of that. I have to. It's like a tape that just be rewinding, like I had like so how I remember things is more or less like I had to go through like what did I go through? Like I had a stroke. Was it around that time, or was it when my house burnt down, or was it around that time to remember certain things that applications ask for you? That alone gives me anxiety. So it's like if I take my time and I'm sitting here, I'm smoking, I'm filling out the paper, it gives me more of a calmer thought versus like everything racing everywhere, or like I'm an artist, so it's like when I'm just seeing all of the colors and I can't match the color palette the way that I want because so many colors is popping out at me, it calms my thoughts for me to
Mhm.
actually focus in. So for me, it's more or less a focus or a calmer. And we're dealing with four kids, like I deal with anxiety all the time because I'm dealing with so many different personalities, aging from 12, 15, 18, and 21. So it's like, so I'm not like
Mhm.
so I'm a weed activist and I'm a strom activist. Anything other than that is not my thing. My mom and my dad was and still actively are drug users. So I was born, with drugs in my system. So that's something that I can't allow to even allow a doctor to tell me something like. So it's like, when I had a stroke, he told me I was going to be on Coumadin for the rest of my life, and I need to take this, that, and the other. I took it for 2 years. I weaned myself off of it. As I was weaning myself off, he kept on dropping my levels. I go back in there a year for my checkup. He like, yeah, we're gonna drop it a little bit more. I'm like, yeah, I haven't been taking it for a year, so I don't need it no more. He like, Miss Williams, you can't do this. You're gonna die. Da, 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 da. I said, well, we serve two different gods, you know. So it's been about 9, almost 10 years since I had a stroke, and he told me I can't eat collard greens, I can't get tattoos, I can't. You can't be in prolonged sun. You can't. So I did everything that God intended for me to do. Like, what did you talk about? This is my newest tattoo that I got actually in
Okay.
September, traveling the world. So, you know, so it's just different for
Okay.
everybody. So it's just like I medicate myself versus allowing a
Mhm.
doctor that went through school, or like, you know, I watch documentaries and stuff. So it's like I see and know what certain things do to you. So I'm gonna be conscious and aware, and I'm not gonna put that stuff in my body. But I know I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I know the concept of weed, you know. So it's like still having to be careful because people putting stuff in it and all of that stuff. Yes, but that's when you don't deal with street people. You deal. I'm an older person, so I deal with the plug, not the middleman. So it's different for everybody, right? You know?
Exactly. And like you said, it's different for everybody. And what works for you works for you. And you made it happen. And look, igniting the path up and you keeping it running. So I'm super happy for you and keep pushing, doing what you got to do and showing your babies that, look, you got this because I had this. And if I could do it, you
Yeah,
could do it.
that part.
So we love that your work aims to open people's imaginations and increase creativity. How do you incorporate this goal into your art events and community initiatives?
So the main thing is that I love when someone says that they feel as though they can't do something. And kids should not be in nobody's vocabulary. You always try, and art is a piece of art to where no art is not art. It's art. So whatever you come up with, it is what it is, and it's all about trying, and it's all about the fun in the mix of it, the peace of mind in the mix of it, the inner kid that is in the mix of it, the creative person that just be wanting to come out is like all of those things. So I just more or less like try to break down to allow people to relax and be their inner child. I do sip and paint, puff and paint, snack and create, and I just basically try to get everyone to tap into their inner child to do things that you probably thought about doing but didn't have the time. Well, this is the materials for you to do these different things. So like I deal with a lot of different textures and smells and like glow in the dark things and stuff like that to stimulate the different senses. And like I came up with like this tissue paint art to where it's a glow in the dark tissue paint, and this texture is not like uh it's not like slime. It's not like putty. It's like in the mix. It don't really stick to your hand. And then I mix it with essential oils so you can get the smell out of it. So it's like I do black light, so you got the whole visual. I do the essential oils where you got the smell, and then the whole touch of the whole situation is the feel of it, and then the whole peace of mind of you just being you're a kid, like you know, have some candies and stuff. So my goodie bags be like candies, and if it's a puff of paint, you get a lighter, and then I normally always put like chapstick in there because you know everybody needs to stay glossed up. So like I do little things to incorporate, you know, adult gift bags or stuff like that to make people feel like you know like the inner child they're supposed to feel like, and then we do things with different elements. So I do
Mhm.
upcycle and I do things to where people would think something is trash. I would teach you how to do something different with that to where you can make it into an art or you can make it into something else or upcycling old magazines into like paper bowls or different things like that. So it's a plethora of things. It's not too much of nothing that I can't do. I'm a seer doer. So when it comes to art, I put it all together. I do resin, I do polymer clay, I do beaded jewelry, I do wrapping. So it's like if I can do it, you can do it.
Wow.
And with like you can choose like you
Wow,
can
look,
choose Instagram
and I
with
love
all
me
of your
some chocolate
kids.
that thrips, man. And that's not her saying all the time, okay?
Yeah, and everything that I just named, I'm able to do with my kids, and they get enjoyment out of it. And then I can mix an older crowd with a younger
Mhm.
crowd, like so that's another thing that I do. So I do kid events, and then the kid events, the adult be wanting to try, and that's what made me like, let me have this as an adult event. So it be working out.
That is super dope. And me and my baby and my wife, we need to come to one of your events so we can have some fun then. Because that's super dope.
And I do,
Super dope. And
yes, and
she
I do
loves
do
art.
traveling.
She loves to be hands on, and textures is a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
so I
sorry,
do
what you
come
say?
to you
Sorry.
as well. I was saying I do come to you as well. So I'm a mobile artist,
Okay.
and I have been a few different places. Yeah, I've been a few places, and I inspired to be, a global artist to where whatever and whoever comes to a place that I am there. This is not just stuck here because I'm not at my lane. I know that I want to be wherever that the Lord takes me. So what I have, I feel like it was universal, and there's some places that have never did the things that I do. So yeah.
Yes, I love it. So that's super dope. You can come to where people are. So I love it. And then where can they find you to do this?
I'm on all streaming platforms at Optimistic Style 17, and that's optimistic spelled politically correct, sorry, and it's Style 17. And Baltimore Unfiltered for anybody that is an entrepreneur or a artist or that is doing anything in any town, any city. I am interested in interviewing you to put everyone on a platform so everyone can know the faces of the cities to see what actually keep the city going and keep the city running because they don't talk about the people of the cities that actually keep it going and brings the entertainment, bring the art, bring the music, and all of the different things. So I just created a platform to where everyone is like a one-stop shop. You can see their faces to the people of who they are. You can get behind the scenes footage, and you can know what they're doing for the next couple of months. So that's what Baltimore Unfiltered is highlighting all of the different artists and give us a whole platform to be able to be highlighted because the news don't talk about that stuff. They talk about everything else in big successful business, but you have to start somewhere. And I feel as though it starts here and it's always right there in our face. But a lot of people don't know about it, and a lot of people are scared to get out and see about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate having someone out here like you so they can be heard and feel comfortable. Have someone behind the scenes and really see what's going on, understand how the background goes and how they got to the levels that they are now. So that's super dope. Super dope. What do you think about the statement, it doesn't end where you started?
Oh, that's a fact because I'm not even finished yet, and I'm definitely not where I started. Like 1,000%, like mentally, physically, emotionally, like all of the things. Like I would say, yeah, that saying is very not true. It's all in what you make it. It's all in what you push for. And I think that my greatest value in the mix of that statement not being true is I feel as though my value of a person has went up tremendously, and I feel as though with me being an honest, true person, that it's not in what you got all the time, it's all in who you know. And sometimes in who you know can get you into more doors than what you can pay to go through. So I feel as though my personality allowed me to get through doors that, people try to fight and pay to get into for years. So I'm actually thankful for that. So that's very so much not true at all.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with the listeners because somebody needed to hear that. Can you share any advice or tips for other moms who may be hesitant or feel guilty about pursuing their desires and passions outside of motherhood?
I would say to them that you have to live outside the box and actually do what it is that your dreams came to you for, because no one else is going to be able to share that dream. And at the end of the day, your children came in this world to be part of your journey, and you shouldn't feel guilty about still being able to try to be the best you and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in life, because as a parent you're always going to be there to push your kids to do the best for them. And why limit yourself until you get old and feel as though, oh, you're old, you this, although it doesn't matter what age that you are, you can get out there, because it is remarkable and amazing people of all different ages that is out there doing what they hesitated on doing. And I would feel as though that's the greatest feeling, when you release yourself and actually tap into something that you always desire to do. And I feel as though it'll give you a boost of being a mom, because you're being courageous and you're being persistent and you will persevere through any situation as you did as a mom. So I feel as though, why not put that energy into yourself to do what it is that's on your heart, because clearly what's on your heart is out there to help other people other than your kids. So I feel as though stepping out the box and being an entrepreneur, if that is what you're led to, is more of a gift and more of a selfless thing, because you are being open with yourself and you're allowing whatever your thing is to explore the world. You're not being selfish with it, you're being selfless. And I feel as though you being selfless will make you happy. It will make you and your children a better individual in the world, versus just always feeling as though you have to work for someone to get what it is that you need. When you are your own boss, there's no limits to how far or how high you can go. And I feel as though when you step out that box and be yourself, you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your kids, to let them know that it's not just one way of doing things. You can also have the on demand job, but you also could be your own boss, to where that in between, where somebody don't want you at their company, you always got something to fall back on, to where you're never without, because you got your own traits and your own dream and your own thing. So if you just put half of the energy into what it is that you desire or that your heart has set for you, you'll be better off than putting no hours in it at all, because you put in 30, 40, 60 hours somewhere else on somebody else's dream. And you're going to feel guilty about doing this yourself when they
Mhm.
got kids and wives at home and they leaving them for hours, but then yet they bossing you around for you to keep on pushing their dreams. Come on. Do better with yourself. Love yourself.
Mhm. Yep, most definitely. Thank you so much for dropping gems. Thank you. Now it's time to get to the spicy side of Torch Talk. Before we
Okay.
dive into these thought provoking questions about relationships and intimacy, I want to remind everyone that this podcast aims to foster open and honest conversations. Our guest today has kindly agreed willingness to share their insights. Please note that discussing sensitive subjects require mutual respect and consent. So we've created a comfortable and safe space for our conversation. If at any point, Optimo, you feel uncomfortable, remember that you have the option to skip questions or choose not to answer. With that said, let's explore these important aspects of personal growth and relationships together. How do you balance being a single mom with dating or pursuing romantic relationships?
I would say I need to do some work at that. If I'm gonna be transparent, because the full time entrepreneur thing has been having me a little distracted. And for me, I guess like I would say my sex drive, I don't have a problem with my sex drive. I think I'm just so determined in what it is that I'm trying to do sometimes that the days sometimes it be like,
Mhm.
damn, it's been a week already type of thing to where I have to be more intentional to where I don't set a date like, oh, this is the date. I just have to be more intentional when I know like time's going past because like my partner he's so forgiving to where it's just like he'll just like whatever. But for me it's like I know if I be more intentional and find time for us to actually sit
Mhm.
and talk and stuff like that, it'd be it's a little bit more easier for me because I'm a sapiosexual. So like I love when we're able to communicate and laugh and joke and all of that because it gets me phone versus just like, touch me here and oh eat me here and just go for it. It's more deeper than that and that's why I choose my partner to where, it should be able to be carried
Yeah.
on to where like, things should be able to be sky the limit and you could laugh and joke and all of these different things. So it's like more or less like that is kind of what
Mhm.
turns me on. So just being more intentional and finding time to have those moments to where we could laugh, joke, and just like be our natural selves. So I would say for me, that's something that I know that I need to work on as well as other things in my life. But when it does come down to the point we have fun, it's great, no complaints. So I'm thankful that I have an understandable partner.
Right. Yes. That is great. And I'm glad that you're knowledgeable about what's going on. Because sometimes it's so much going on, like you said, and we're entrepreneurs. So it's like we 24 hours is in a day and we using them up. Okay. So no shade at all
And then
to
it
the partners
doesn't.
at all, but
And
we love that they are patient with us. Yeah.
yes, and it doesn't make it easier because like I've been in
Go
my
ahead. I'm
relationship
listening.
almost
Sorry.
it's been almost 4 years and we live separately to where I live in Frederick, Maryland. He lives in Baltimore, Maryland. So I do come out there often because that's where I work at and stuff. So when I do come down there, I stay at his house and stuff like that. I would say that kind of makes it a little bit difficult too. And my problem with that is I don't like the schools down there for my kids to go down there. So it's kind of like more or less like we're being true to each other and being understandable and get our time in when we can get in because we're trying to change the dynamic of a few things. So besides that, like like I said, it be great when it
Hmm.
happens, and then we take trips and do different stuff like that. So it'd be dope.
Okay. Y'all gonna work it out, get it together fully, and it's gonna be aligned. And yes, so I'm rooting for it.
Thank you, thank you.
Have you ever explored or you're welcome. Have you ever explored or considered non-traditional relationships dynamics?
Have I ever considered them?
Mm-hmm. Explored or considered?
Oh yes, I am very very open to that. Actually, um, yes, I have explored. Um, do I feel as though I can be in a full, just one-on-one relationship with a woman? I don't think so much. Non-traditional in my good old future days, do I feel as though like my partner and I can have a girlfriend? Yeah, like I'm open to that because I do enjoy females. I love everything about them. At the same time, I am naturally intrigued with male testosterone, and I just like the whole physical touch of the warmth and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I enjoy a female just as much. And when it comes to any individual, it's like I'm pretty much like I haven't explored like a transgender or any of those things, but I wouldn't say if I was single and wasn't living a mom life, would I not explore them? Yes, I was. Like as me being transparent.
Okay, just be honest. I love it. Thank you for being so transparent with me. My last question during spicy talk for you is, how do you think societal expectations impact our sex lives and relationships as mothers?
Sometimes I think that they just need to mind their business. That's all. Like, you know, I feel as though it doesn't matter
Okay.
the gender of a person. It's more or
Okay.
less like having two loving individuals in a household to care for a child or a family or whatever the case may be. It's more or less like everyone has their history, I mean, have their background of things that they experience or why they choose whatever that they choose or whatever the case may be. Nobody else has to deal with that but that person. And I feel as though long as it's not no perverted things going on with the kid, I don't feel as though it should be any issue. I feel as though it's like I'm a single mom, and like when I say single mom, I'm in my own household raising my own kids. My partner is in his own household raising his daughter. So when I say single mom, it's like I'm doing this whole thing on my own versus like it doesn't matter if it was a male or a female in here helping me raise my children. Our sexuality don't have anything to do with that. Love, care, and all the things that come with being parenting is the main important part. So at the end of the day, some people are not able to have kids. So if you have a woman that's not able to have kids and on top of that she's gay but she wants kids, what makes her wrong for wanting that? Like how is she wrong? Like if she got the loving heart to be able to do that versus people that can have 1,000 kids and don't take care of them, and just because they can have 1,000 kids and they gotta half a man sitting there, what makes that so right?
I love it. Thank you for dropping more gems in the room. Thank you. It's speaking the truth
Yeah.
for me, because for me, I have a wife, right?
I heard. I was
I'm a
listening to her
lesbian mom.
podcast.
So of
She's
course it
dope
didn't
as hell.
start like that. Thank you. So,
And I
I
love y'all
appreciate you
dynamic.
for viewing life like that. You know, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. You see,
Yes.
I'm cheesing hard, right? Look, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? If I missed anything, or is there anyone you'd like to give flowers to before we close out?
So the funniest part is I actually do give out flowers in the real life and like in the real form. Like that's what I do. You know. It's like, no. But I would like to definitely give myself
Okay.
some flowers because I am proud of how far I have came and and sometimes we don't recognize like how far we have came and I feel as though I suggest a lot of people take a look back at your pictures. Like go all the way back to however far as you can go back to whatever and see how far you came because sometimes we don't pay that no attention. And when you look at that, you can see your ups, your downs. You can see what time period that you did that. Like you did that. Like you overcame that. You persevered that. So sometimes we need to take a step back and then realize and like give gratitude and give grace and recognize how far we came and know that we can keep going. So I would say first and foremost myself, and I would say my partner because I don't get a chance to give him flowers as much because he's not a flower guy, but he has came in my life and been a true form of a man and good example of what a provider, not only a provider, a listener can be. And I feel as though without him and the support of him, he's like the support of like 10 people, and I appreciate that. So he's the only person that I can say that came in my life and been supportive and allowed me to explore my dreams and be consistent at it and not ever let me feel as though I should get a life and not believe what it is that I know or seeing myself. So him being a true supporter, and definitely you for giving this platform for me to be able to highlight my voice, to be able to be heard, and be able to say some things that probably never was even said or people didn't even know about. So I'm thankful for that. And a shout out to my girl Bean Pie. She deserves some flowers. That was my partner for the last couple of years. Sydney, we're gonna X out Bean Pie. Her name is Sydney, and she's an amazing person. And she's 10 years younger than me, and she reminds me of my younger self, to where I know she has so much greatness, so much everything. And once she get over this hump and find her real true self, the sky is the limit. And I just am thankful and honored that I got a chance to know her, and all of the people that I've been working with throughout this last couple of years, like just 4 years, that have made a big impact in my life. And that will be Keisha Lioness for sure, Fred, Big Fred the comedian for sure, um, Trippy Treats, Icon of God, like is a few, Aquila Divine, Nate Variety, like those are all people that actually took me in as like a little sis in a sense. Like not being from around here, I was accepted and embraced. So it is dope to have some people to where is of some substance and that is doing something with their self to see the potential in myself that I didn't see a couple of years back, to where I'm shining and I'm being myself, and it's not nobody else but myself, and just like diving deep and just keep on just figuring myself out. So I'm thankful for the opportunities and Baltimore just accepting me and embracing me, and like all of the things in any city that I go into. So I'm just thankful for being me and all of the people that embrace me.
Yes, I love it. Drop it down. You hear me? So, flowers back to you, flowers to your partner, and shout outs to your crew. Okay. Listen, thank
Thank
you
you, thank you.
so much, Optimo, for giving us your energy and your time tonight. We enjoyed you
Yeah.
and we appreciate you so much.
Yes, and y'all gotta
You
stay
guys
tuned
already
because
know
I
I'm
am
closing out by
interviewing
saying,
Dr. Alicia. I'm interviewing her. We're gonna get some questions. I want y'all to tap in with me. Let me know what y'all would like to know about this beautiful queen right here. She doing big things. I know she a lot more than just Torch Moms. Her right
yes,
here. I know she a lot more than Torch Moms, and we want to get all of that. We want to get the whole real spill, and yes, we want to get the whole other side of being uh uh two mom household. I want it all. We want the whole spill. We want to know what you're doing other than Torch Moms. We want all of that. Like all that. We want all the tea. And I'm gonna get it for y'all. I'm gonna get it.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes, she will. So y'all drop it down for her. Make sure y'all send her some questions so I can answer. Because I'm gonna be an
Yep.
open book. Just like I have you guys come on in an open book, I'm gonna drop them answers with no questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna close out by saying, you guys, negativity is forbidden and energy is power. Didn't have a backstage pass doing on our YouTube channel, the Torch Mom Podcast. So be sure to subscribe, like, and share. If you have experiences or questions to share, send us an email to the Torch Mom Podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at the Torch Mom Podcast. Remember, what you desire, you already have. We love you. Stay torch.